Senator Schumer, do not shut down the federal government. Do not jeopardize funding for our military and for our national security. Do not jeopardize funding for the Children's Health Insurance Program. I ask the American people to understand this. The only people standing in the way of keeping the government open are Senate Democrats. Whether there is a government shutdown or not is now entirely up to them.
Speaker of the House on the Hill just a few hours ago after the House, for its part, voted 230 to 197 along mostly party lines to pass a temporary funding bill to avert a government shutdown at midnight tomorrow night. That measure would fund the government at least until February 16th, your government at work. It now moves on to the Senate. Future's uncertain. They're adjourned. At least 4 Republican senators have said they will vote against the bill. If Democrats stick together, that's enough to sink it. But where are we then? Republicans added 6 years of funding for CHIP, the Children's Health Insurance Program, to this short-term deal. But it does not include protections for Dreamers who were brought to the United States illegally as children, which is, as you know, a huge sticking point for Democrats. This exchange tonight on the Senate floor reveals just how far apart these two sides remain.
So here's what we can do to solve the problem. We could solve it right now. The 4 leaders could sit down, there's been a lot of discussion, and come to an agreement and do what the president said at one point. Send it to his desk and he'll sign it. We could get that done before the deadline of tomorrow night expires.
The presidency under our constitutional system is not irrelevant. He is the person who signs things into law. And for most of us, in the House and Senate, on the Republican side, we're interested in what his views are, and those have not been made fully apparent yet.
Second time in 24 hours, Mitch McConnell has been asking, in effect, the president, what would you like here? And as for the White House role in all of this, contradictory, confusing messaging from the president, along with his profane quotes on immigrants last week, none of it has helped. Today, the president made it apparent where he will lay the blame if the government shuts down.
President, you're responsible if there's a government shutdown, sir?
Could happen. We'll see what happens. It's up to the Democrats. I really believe the Democrats want to shut down to get off the subject of the tax cuts because they've worked so well. Nobody thought, including the Democrats, they could work this well. They've been so good that I think the Democrats would like to see us shut down in order to get off that subject.
Well, we have 2 terrific guests to talk about all this tonight. Anita Kumar, White House correspondent for McClatchy Newspapers, and we welcome to our broadcast Phil Elliott, political correspondent for Time. Phil, I understand you and I share the same reporting on this broadcast last night. I quoted someone with knowledge of the president's thinking and methods saying, you guys are all getting played. This is a reality television star who has scheduled a 4 p.m. departure from the White House tomorrow. He doesn't want a government shutdown. He wants a crisis. He wants to be able to fly off to Mar-a-Lago on, by the way, the 1-year anniversary of his inauguration, where the crowds were the largest ever. Having solved this tomorrow night, I understand we are of the same mind on that.
I suspect we're talking to many of the same people, Brian. The thinking at the White House right now is that there will not be a government shutdown. They will find some very dramatic, perhaps a rose ceremony in the Rose Garden by which all of this can be worked out. And it comes back to the president as a deal maker, showing us on the 1-year anniversary of his ascent to power that the reason why people voted for him, that to strike this massive, amazing, incredible, stupendous deal at the last minute, thereby taking a victory lap from the South Lawn by Marine One, heading to his very successful club where tickets for his 1-year anniversary gala it's $100,000 per couple is what the price there at his private club Mar-a-Lago are going for.
So, Anita, do Democrats in the Senate stick together? Question 1. And question 2, how would you go about pinning this on the Dems who don't control the White House, House, or Senate?
Right. I think that's going to be tough. I mean, the American people are going to look at it and say Republicans control the White House. They control both chambers of Congress. It's going to be very hard. But, you know, the Democrats are sticking together. You had played the clip earlier of the speaker saying that this is all about Senate Democrats. Don't forget, they don't have Senate Republicans on board. You mentioned I think it's 4 or 5 Senate Republicans are not on board. They need all of those people to be on board. But, I think they are looking at some things. Republicans on Capitol Hill are saying, well, look, this isn't going to play well for the Democrats. If the government shuts down, it's not going to play well in states that President Trump won, that these vulnerable Democrats are going to have to run in. So, I mean, they do think they have some leverage. I think the Democrats do stick together. They think this is their real shot to get something for the Dreamers.